Action.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Across America. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, is Robert Lamb.
Hi.
I don't know why you chose to be so loud.
I don't know.
That's rude and abrasive, and our listeners don't appreciate it. I'll ask you.
I didn't know why.
Again.
I didn't know why you were trying to be so quiet.
I'll ask you not to do it again. Thank you.
I just raised your volume.
How the hell are you?
That way,
everyone.
Louder.
How is everyone in Across America land?
Across America land.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that I have not been able to be here more often to do these. Work and life and children is a thing.
Excuses. Just full-on excuses.
Who cares about their development and our furthering of our lives?
Yeah. I mean, like you're really worried about the future and what the future holds for your children.
Hopefully this is the future, right? I mean, that's what we want.
You want them to walk across the country?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only I don't want them to call me ever.
Oh, right. Well, they might, like once or twice. You might have to go get them.
Yeah, so last we talked, you just got off the airplane in Washington with your friends.
Yeah, starting from scratch. You know what? I think I missed some stuff, so let's start over.
Start at the beginning.
Right now. This is episode 1 of Across America.
We're going to change the titling a little bit.
Right.
We're going to call this...
America?
No, we're going to call it Wallet Guy Heads South.
Okay. Yeah, but the wallet guy thing plays into it later. I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense in the beginning.
All right, we're going to do a poll on Twitter.
Sure.
Should we rename it?
Wallet Guy...
Yeah. Across America or Wallet Guy Heads South?
I think we should just call it Across America 2, the sequel.
Across America 2, the sequel, or Wallet Guy Heads South. I'm tweeting that right now as Rob continues to talk about his thing that he did.
Yeah. So it's been a while since we recorded. I feel like I do that a lot, say that, but people know. So I'm going to probably, repeat some stuff. I'll try not to, but I do remember I talked about Brian and meeting up with Brian. And
Brian,
I'm in Georgia right now, and I'm like looking over my notes. So basically, I wanted to avoid Atlanta, which is why I stayed south of Atlanta. But Brian came, visited me. I stayed at that Jellystone campground, did some homework, and then took off. I headed through LaGrange, which isn't that a ZZ Top
is a song by ZZ Top. Oh, outside LaGrange.
I don't think that's based on that, is it? That town?
No, I don't think so.
That'd be cool, though.
Although, they are Southern rock.
Yeah,
it might
Sweet
be.
Home, Alabama.
Woo!
That's Leonard Skinner.
Leonard
not ZZ
Skinner.
Top. But I'm saying, Southern rock, maybe they just pick, different towns. I don't know. But anyways, I headed through LaGrange, and then I went over to US 19. And US 19, I may have talked about a little bit, but is also known as 34th Street here in St. Petersburg, where we're recording and where we live. And it's not too far from my house.
No, it is quite literally 5 minutes in the truck.
Yeah.
And I can get into 34th Street.
Exactly. So it's not that far. So I thought, I could just head down 34th Street or US 19 for pretty much majority all the way, although I didn't want to come into St. Petersburg, but I could eventually divert through Tampa. So that was my goal, was just to head down US 19 all the way into Florida. I still had a lot of Georgia to walk through, and I'll tread lightly, not to talk bad about any of the towns that I did walk through in Georgia, but I will say that when I looked for campgrounds or RV parks or even motels, most of them were getting like a 1.5 star review, and a lot of it was like dirty, scary, like certain towns, like just like these small towns that I was walking through weren't like the nicest of towns. But also US 19 is kind of known for that, especially down here in 34th Street. It's very like, well, down here it's like really commercial, but it's not like the nicest areas.
Yeah,
but whatever. So
that's everywhere. We've talked about this in several cities.
Yeah, exactly. So I just remember like going through there and be like, oh, I need to find like some place, every once in a while to like either camp out. But even then, he just put the on the 7 Lamb Twitter.
The Twitter's
Wait,
up.
You put 3 of them?
I did put 3 options.
What's the other one?
I put Wallet Guy Heads South, Across America 2, the sequel, and please don't do it over.
I think a lot of people would do that third one.
Please don't do this.
And actually, before I actually got to US 19, I walked through Franklin D. Roosevelt State Park, which I didn't know what that was, and it was very mountainous, which is like in Georgia. I mean, like, it got pretty high up there. I don't know what the elevation is, but I remember walking up some pretty steep inclines, and then I took some pictures of like the overview of like the forest and stuff, and I was pretty high up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did not expect this. I know that the Appalachian Trail does start in Georgia,
yeah,
but I always thought it was like more northern Georgia.
It goes from Georgia all the way up through Tennessee.
I think it goes all the way to Maine. But yeah, Tennessee too.
And then it drifts over to Rhode Island.
And that's not Tennessee 2, the sequel. What? Yeah, I think Rhode Island too. Wow. But yeah, I went through this park, and actually, when I was walking through this park, was when this like cold front hit, and I think it got down to I wrote down 29 degrees that night, so it was quite cold, and I remember waking up to just frost all over my tent. And I was like, I'm in Georgia.
Right.
Like, this is almost as cold as like Washington and Idaho, like when I was up north. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I remember that was like the first time, I think, out of the whole trip, even when I was in the snow, the first time where I was like, I might make a fire. I was like, this sucks. I was like, it was freezing. And I again, I was wearing like all my clothes, and I even put like the cart in my tent at this point just to like, I don't know. I was like putting like blanket, like clothes like over the cart and me, like just to make like this little tent inside the tent.
Yeah.
I was just like freezing. And then in the Franklin D. Roosevelt Park, you can't, it says no camping on the side of the road, and you have to find like designated areas. So I'm like, all right. So when I was walking through the park, I looked for these designated areas, and all of them were like 2 miles off the road, like on dirt paths. So I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, I'm not taking my cart down some rocky path.
No.
Like, there's no... If I were to walk the Appalachian Trail, I'm not taking a cart. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That
would be stupid.
That would actually be pretty funny,
right.
though. Like, if somebody was trying to take a cart, like, up the Appalachian Trail and stuff. That'd be cool.
Hey, I'm going to climb Everest. What are you bringing with you?
Cart.
This wagon wheel. This radio flyer.
Tie it around your waist and just pull it up.
That's right.
Hey, I also just read something recently, not to divert too far, but I didn't know that on Everest and a lot of like certain mountain climbs, you have to take your like a little bag for your waist that you
poop in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you tie it up and you carry it with you all the way up and then back down the mountain.
I did not know that either.
You're not allowed. Apparently,
not allowed to duke on the mountain.
Because especially they said it's a problem on Everest is that mountain climbers were doing that and it doesn't degrade, like it doesn't decompose or whatever.
Frozen.
Yeah, so it stays frozen. So there's
poop.
just frozen shit everywhere on the mountain, and you figure like people are climbing it, maybe they land in a bunch of frozen shit.
But see, how hard is that turd? Is it like petrified rock at that point?
I bet you if you landed face first into it, you'd like break your skull. I don't know.
A cerebral hemorrhage due to falling on a frozen duke.
Like, how long does it take to climb Mount Everest? Like, you got to carry a lot of...
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's a lot of shit you're carrying.
Yeah.
That's why it's like weird.
All right, here's a new question for the end of the podcast. If Robert had carried his shit around his waist...
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
How much would he have weighed at the end of the walk?
I wouldn't have walked then. I would have just had, like, bags of it. No, but I can, like, for me, luckily, I didn't climb any large mountains where feces doesn't decompose.
Yeah.
All right, lucky for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting. I read that
you
recently.
were what we don't know is you were doing a test the entire time to make sure that your poop was melting where you were. So you would poop, wait.
After I would wait about 2 hours, and I would pour some water on it.
You know, another dangerous thing is that we're getting really close to finding out the poop stories.
Right. Yeah, but that's near the end.
You're almost in Florida.
Almost
in Florida. But that means we got at least another 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. Probably. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting. But To bring it back to the state park, I didn't walk down any of those trails. I ended up just camping on the side of the road. I'm a rule breaker.
Yeah.
And an outlaw of sorts. And no cops stopped or state troopers or park rangers showed up, so I was good. And I ended up getting onto US 19 after that, followed it down. US 19 actually had a shoulder, like the roads I was following before didn't have any shoulder. There were like these drainage ditches though, like on the side of the road, like these huge, like wide ditches. Mm-hmm. And I would actually just go into the ditch and just walk along the ditch for a while.
Really?
Yeah, because it was just like easier to walk on that than it was because the road had like in Georgia and Alabama, there's literally no shoulder on so many of the roads. It's just like
you're just in the grass.
Yeah, so I'm just in the grass, and with a cart, it's just a pain in the ass. So. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but I went into the drainage ditch and just kind of followed that until I got to US 19, and then that actually opened up a little bit.
Was there like good grass on the other side of the ditch? Would it have been worth it for you to lug your cart all the way over there?
There's no good grass. Like the grass that I walked through in Georgia was very like the ground's really uneven, and there's parts like, you know how like the road sometimes will be higher up than like the land, like the grass is kind of like on an incline. That's how it was sometimes too. And I was like, this is impossible to walk on. And I didn't want to walk in the middle of the street or like on the side of the road because, you know, I don't want to die. But I also wrote down that when I got to this town or close to this town called Ellaville, it was October 26th, and a cop stopped me and asked if I was all right. And I was like, no, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just trying to get to Ellaville. And he's like, yeah, just head there. You'll find something to sleep or talk to the cops there, and they'll find a place for you to camp out. So I was like thinking, okay, I'm going to camp out behind the police station like I normally do.
Right.
But I didn't get to the town until like 9 p.m., so it was like already dark. And there was another cop at the police station, and he was like, oh, you know what? You can sleep at the laundromat. And I was like, the laundromat? And he's like, yeah, it's no one's going to be in there around this time. He's like, so just head down to the laundromat and you can stay there. So I'm like, all right, I mean, that's fine. So
yeah, I'll sleep in a laundromat.
So
people wake me up.
Yeah, as the dryer's going. So I headed to the laundromat, but when I got to the laundromat, another cop showed up, a different cop. And he was like, what's going on? I was like, oh, I was told I just need a place to sleep for the night. I'm walking through, I'm walking across the country.
By the way, I'm walking across the country.
Yeah. You know,
started in Washington, here in Georgia.
Sit down. Let me tell you about it.
You know how it is.
Yeah, and then he made some tea. And then
you're that guy that destroyed that town.
Yeah, who carries his feces. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna sleep here because the other cop said I could. And he's like, sorry, but you can't.
Yeah, no, that cop was wrong.
So I was like,
get up.
I'm like, really? So I didn't even get into the laundromat. I don't even know if it was actually open or if they were gonna open it for me. I don't know what was going on. The lights were still on inside, but obviously it's like late at night. Yeah. So I was like, okay. I'm like, well, where should I stay? And this cop was like totally disinterested and everything. So yeah. I was like, okay. And so the original cop that told me that I could sleep at the laundromat shows up, and he's like, hey, sorry about that. Apparently, like, I don't know, he wasn't supposed to tell me to sleep at the laundromat, even though that's what they originally thought. I don't know what it was, but he was like, I'm sorry, there's some shit going on.
There's a killer
on the loose. The laundromat killer.
There's a laundromat killer on the loose. We're expecting a local vagabond / hero.
They were actually going to use me as bait
to wander into
to like go in there, sleep there, and then swarm the building.
Hey,
when
buddy, can you sleep with your britches down just a little bit more? Show off the goods.
Listen, I'm glad he called an audible and took me out of that situation.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, sorry. How about I just take you into Americus, which was like the next town.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
sure, whatever.
I'm like, that's fine, but I got to walk the whole way. He's like, well, you're not going to hit it tonight. He's like, it's way too late. I'm like, well, fine. He's like, let me drive you in there. I'm like, fine. I'm like, is there a cheap motel or something? He's like, yeah, I think there's like a couple motels. He's like, we'll find you one. You can stay there. And then I'm like, fine. So what I'll do is I'll do the backtracking thing again, like I've done previously. So I was like, all right, which is mainly the reason why sometimes I just was like, you know what, I'll just sleep on the side of the road. Like, it's just easier sometimes when I ask like cops or, you know, try to sleep in like a town. Sometimes I don't know if they have a motel or if it's cheap or a campground or whatever. And some of the campgrounds, when I Google mapped it, sometimes they would show up on Google Maps, but they were like closed down years ago.
Right.
I would get there and they're just
By the
gone.
way, there's a campsite here.
Yeah.
You show up and it's like an estate.
Yeah.
There's no campsite here, dear boy. Sorry about that.
Google Maps is wrong again.
Google. Chartreuse, we've got another Googler at the door.
Oh dear.
Honey, is that one of the Googlers? Honey? Love?
Tell him to go.
Off with you, Google boy.
Enough of your kind.
Hello, in Southern Georgia.
Yeah.
We have some aristocratic British folks
Very Gone with the Windish.
that have had several Googlers at the door.
Yeah, so obviously because of that whole scenario,
There's a Googler at the door.
That's why I didn't stay.
Yeah, can't do that.
Yeah, I couldn't do that kind of stuff. So I always had to ask cops, and even them, you know, there's all that inner turmoil within their precinct of can you or can you not sleep at a laundromat?
You get that one hyped up cop. He's like, yeah, I'm walking across the country. You fuck with me, boy? Huh? You messing with me?
Get down on the ground.
You have to go at me? Show me your hands.
Like, no, it's just a cart.
Sir,
Like,
it's
I'm
just a
pushing
cart.
a cart.
It's coming right for me. Pop, 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 pop. Just starts busting shots into your cart.
Yep. Plants a gun on me, turns the other way,
Yep.
shoots himself in the leg.
Right in the kneecap.
Yeah. He fired first.
The guy with the cart. They're like, Jerry, the laundromat has an extensive
Security
camera system. We literally saw you shoot an inanimate object and then yourself.
You shot not only the cart, but him several times, turned around, shot yourself in the back of the kneecap,
Mm-hmm.
and then...
Why did you do that?
For backup.
You idiot. The kid was mouthing off to me.
We'll still give you paid leave for now, but when you come back, sir...
Pending investigation.
Yeah, we're going to have a stern talking to you.
Might be a note in your file, Johnson.
And the poor boy never made it to Florida. But anyways, the
Guadalupe sends his regards.
He'll return too. So I ended up going into Americus, and I got a motel there, and I did backtrack, did some homework. I ended up staying there for 2 days, watched some Gilligan's Island on TV, on their tube television that didn't get too many channels. And then
What? It didn't?
No, I think I did watch a World Series game though, so that was maybe it got TBS or something. So, or I don't know if that was on TBS at that point. Maybe it was Fox, but whatever. Watched that and then did some homework. Did my backtracking one day, and then I went to like a lot of Dollar Generals, restocked on Gatorade and all that kind of
beef
stuff.
jerky.
Yeah, of course. And I do remember that this motel that I was staying at, it was a little rundown, like a lot of the motels and RV parks in some of these towns, southern towns. And I remember there was like another door that led into like another room. It was like another room like adjacent, but the door was a shared bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I didn't know if someone was going to come into my bathroom.
Why not?
So I was like, this is weird. So like I closed my side of the bathroom door because it was like a corner room too. So it had like the bathroom was in the corner, so I could enter from the left side. But then on the right side there was another door that went into the other room.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know if this is a shared bathroom. So I was really nervous taking a shower at that time, but I did it quickly and then shut the door on my side and then put like a chair in front of it just in case. You know, just in case.
If anybody knocks on the door, you're like, come back with a warrant.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the windows. I think every window in this motel was cracked or shattered somewhere. I don't know if they were bullet holes or someone threw an axe at it, but they were shattered and not replaced.
Right.
Reminded me of like Hotel
Somebody
Hell,
had
Gordon
a
Ramsay
real aggressive shower in there.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't just a shower. It was like
Honey,
over
what
the
are you
bed,
doing with
too.
those power tools? I'm showering.
I'm just saying, Gordon Ramsay would have been upset.
Oh man,
He would have shut that place down.
As he does.
Oh, of course. So then after Americus, it was a pretty, normal trek through the rest of the towns, which were Leesburg, Albany, and Thomasville. And then, Jack, on Halloween Day, October 31st, I hit something. Do you know what I hit?
I think I know what you hit.
I hit, not physically, but
Florida.
but I did hit a new state, and that new state was Tennessee. I went the wrong way.
Oh, no!
What if I did that? Like, actually headed the wrong way?
That would be the
that'd be stupid because I had
thing.
Google Maps on me.
So. The Googler!
No, they followed me to the Florida border.
Yeah. That way to the big city, Googler.
The big city. Bright lights in the big city. So, yes, I hit Florida on Halloween Day, which was kind of cool.
Sick.
So, starting November 1st, I think I, went into Florida, and then I ended up camping on the side of the road, not too far, into Florida. So, we'll talk more about that on the next episode. But I do want to plug some stuff real quick.
I wish you would.
Which we haven't plugged in a while. So
please
let's do a little bit of it.
Let's do it.
We are now on Spreaker.
Woo!
And while a lot of our stuff is still on Blog Talk, we're going to be mostly hosted through Spreaker. So you can go to Spreaker.com, find all of our podcasts on there. But we're also on iTunes, and we're also on Stitcher, and we're also on SoundCloud. So all the podcasts that we produce, because we produce a lot of them.
Yeah.
Jack,
7 currently, correct?
Yeah, 7 currently. 6 audio dramas and 1
and this one.
Yeah.
But you can now, the big deal is you can now look it up by 7 Lamb, correct?
Yeah, so if you type in, that was an issue that we always had a problem with. We couldn't change the author of the podcast. So now if you search for 7 Lamb in iTunes search or anywhere, it should pop up with all of our podcasts.
Right.
So that way it's just easier to click through each one. Although I will say that for some reason, now I'm having problems with this one, Across America, is the only one that the author won't change. So I got to go back into the RSS settings and try to figure that out. But all the other ones will show up, so you can search for 7 Lamb. Like I said, we're on Spreaker now. We're hopefully soon... Oh, we're also on Spotify and YouTube.
Yes.
So that's nice, too. You can listen to our stuff on there.
We're also on ChristianMingle.com.
Yeah, and Match.com. Yeah.
And FarmersOnly.com.
Yeah. So if you want to date...
Search for us there.
Yep. You can make sure to swipe right. I think you swipe...
Which way do you swipe to say yes?
I think it's right.
There you go.
Or maybe it's left. I don't know. I've never been on...
Swipe whatever way says yes.
I don't even know if you swipe on those, but I'm just going to assume you probably do.
That's a good question.
I mean,
do you if you swipe yes, I like them, is that a good thing? But if you swipe no, are you sending them a prayer?
A prayer that they'll get another date soon, or
some of those people that just don't get the swipes are getting a lot of prayers lately.
Should I put 7 Lamb on Tinder?
Yeah.
Just to see if people want to
Yeah, but see, that could go the wrong way because people could be like, yeah, fuck 7 Lamb, and they...
That's true. Or they could be like, I want to fuck 7 Lamb.
There you go.
And then they send us nudes.
Well.
Just saying. Could happen that way,
Hello, inbox, my old friend.
So we should also be on iHeartRadio soon.
Yes.
They have a little bit of a stricter policy where, they actually have to review all the podcasts before they get on there. And sometimes I think it can take up to 60 days. So I've submitted a few of the podcasts. I think this is one of them, and then maybe End of All Hope so far. I'm going to submit a few more. So we'll be on iHeartRadio.
End of All Hope, Paralyzed, The Walk,
Doctors,
Across America, Cop Doctors.
All of it.
Cop Doctor.
Yeah. So, you can find all of our stuff. We also have a few new shows coming out soon, but I'll plug those on the next episode.
Yeah.
And then if you like this podcast, don't forget to rate and review.
Yep.
Cool.
Do that.
Yeah.
Hey, up next is episode 47 of Across America with Jack Austin and Robert Lamb.
Florida.
The Florida episodes.
Yeah.
They're as boring as you might think. No, I'm kidding. Florida's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's good.
I have some good stories. We'll see.
Okay.
Cool.
We love you guys.
Bye-bye. This has been a Seven Lamb production.